What if you could step into the past, not through a history book or a museum, but by standing in the very places where ancient secrets still whisper in the wind? All around the world, hidden in plain sight or buried beneath layers of time, there are locations so mysterious that even today, with all our technology and knowledge, we still can't fully unravel their stories. These aren't just forgotten ruins or crumbling monuments. They're enigmas that challenge everything we think we know about human history. From lost cities swallowed by jungles to structures built with precision that seems impossible for their time, these places hold clues to civilizations that thrived and vanished, leaving behind puzzles that experts are desperate to solve. Imagine walking through a doorway carved thousands of years ago, knowing that no one alive today can truly explain why it was built or what it meant to the people who stood there before you. Some of these sites defy logic. How were massive stones moved and stacked with such accuracy? Why were certain alignments chosen to match the stars? What rituals or beliefs inspired these creations, and what happened to the people who left them behind? The deeper you dig, the more questions arise, and that's the thrill of it. History isn't just about what we know, it's about the gaps, the mysteries that keep us searching for answers. That's why we're diving into 25 of the most baffling historical locations on Earth. Each one is a chapter in humanity's untold story, a place where the past refuses to give up its secrets easily. Whether it's an underground labyrinth rumored to hold untold treasures or a monument that aligns with celestial events in ways we still don't understand, these sites are more than just relics. They're invitations to explore, to wonder, and to question. So if you're ready to journey beyond the textbooks and into the heart of history's greatest unsolved riddles, you're in the right place. Let's uncover the truth, or at least get a little closer to it. Of all the mysterious places humanity has dreamed of uncovering, none captures our imagination quite like the lost city of Atlantis. The very name conjures images of gleaming towers beneath the waves, a utopian civilization swallowed by the sea in a single catastrophic night. The story first appears in the writings of the ancient Greek philosopher Plato around 360 B.C., not as myth but as a real place. He describes a powerful island nation beyond the Pillars of Hercules, rich with gold, advanced technology, and a thriving society. But when its people grew arrogant, the gods punished them. Earthquakes and floods tore the land apart, sinking Atlantis beneath the ocean in one terrible day and night. Over the centuries, explorers and scholars have scoured the globe, trying to pin down its possible location. Some believe it lay in the Mediterranean, pointing to the volcanic island of Santorini, where a massive eruption around 1600 B.C. destroyed the Minoan civilization. Others argue for the Azores, the Caribbean, or even Antarctica. Modern technology has fueled new theories, satellite images revealing strange geometric shapes off the coast of Spain, underwater ruins near Japan's Yonaguni Island, even sonar anomalies in the Bermuda Triangle. But none have been definitively proven. What keeps the legend alive isn't just the allure of hidden treasure or forgotten knowledge. It's the tantalizing possibility that an advanced society once thrived, only to vanish without a trace. Could Atlantis have been a warning from Plato about the dangers of hubris, a distorted memory of a real disaster passed down through generations? Or is there still a lost city waiting to be found, its secrets locked beneath the sea? Until proof surfaces, Atlantis remains history's most enduring enigma, not just a place, but a story that refuses to sink. Shifting from mythical lost cities to a very real and far more treacherous stretch of ocean, the Bermuda Triangle has haunted sailors and aviators for centuries. This infamous area, roughly bounded by Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, has been blamed for the vanishing of dozens of ships and planes under bizarre circumstances. The disappearances often follow a chilling pattern: clear weather, no distress calls, and no wreckage ever found. One of the most famous cases occurred in December 1945 when Flight 19, a squadron of 5 U.S. Navy bombers, vanished without a trace during a routine training mission. Even the rescue plane sent to find them disappeared as if swallowed by the sea. Paranormal theories have swirled for decades. Some claim the triangle is a portal to another dimension, a hotspot for extraterrestrial activity, or the site of Atlantis's lost technology interfering with modern instruments. Others point to rogue waves, methane gas eruptions from the ocean floor, or powerful electromagnetic anomalies disrupting navigation systems, but scientists offer more grounded explanations. The region sits in a busy shipping lane with unpredictable weather, strong currents like the Gulf Stream, and shallow waters that can quickly scatter debris. Human error, mechanical failure, and the sheer vastness of the search area make recoveries unlikely. Yet the mystery endures because the stories defy easy answers. Why do compasses spin wildly in certain spots? Why do so many cases involve experienced crews who simply vanish? The Bermuda Triangle taps into our fear of the unknown, a place where the rules of physics seem to bend. Whether supernatural or simply a tragic convergence of natural dangers, this patch of ocean remains a modern enigma, one that reminds us how much of our world still holds secrets. Beyond vanished ships and planes, some of the triangle's most baffling cases involve ghost ships discovered adrift, fully intact but abandoned. The Mary Celeste is the most famous example, though not strictly within the triangle, but similar vessels like the Carol A. Deering, found in 1921 with meals still on the table and lifeboats missing, add to the eerie lore. Even today, with GPS and advanced weather tracking, disappearances still occur, leaving investigators scratching their heads. The truth may be less sensational than aliens or time warps, but no less fascinating. Perhaps the real danger lies in how easily nature can outmaneuver human ingenuity. Or maybe, like all great mysteries, the Bermuda Triangle endures because we want it to, a reminder that even in our age of satellites and sonar, some corners of the world still whisper, "You don't know everything." Standing silent and imposing on England's Salisbury Plain, Stonehenge has watched the sun rise and set for over 4,000 years, yet we still debate what it was built for. This ring of towering stones, some weighing as much as 50 tons, wasn't just placed randomly. Each slab was carefully shaped and arranged, with the larger sarsen stones forming a perfect outer circle, capped by lintels that fit together like an ancient jigsaw. Even more astonishing, the smaller blue stones were dragged over 140 miles from the Preseli Hills in Wales, a journey that would have taken months, if not years, for Neolithic builders. Why go through such effort? The answer might lie in the heavens. During the summer solstice, the rising sun aligns perfectly with the heel stone, casting a beam of light through the heart of the monument. In winter, the sunset aligns with gaps in the stones, marking the year's shortest day. These precise celestial connections suggest Stonehenge wasn't just a temple or burial ground. It might have been a colossal calendar, tracking seasons to guide farming or rituals. Recent excavations uncovered cremated human remains, hinting at funerary use, but also revealed pits holding animal bones and tools, pointing to feasts or offerings. The deeper archaeologists dig, the more questions emerge. Why were some blue stones chipped away and carried off in antiquity as if they held special power? What about the nearby Durrington Walls, a massive settlement where builders may have lived? Was this a pilgrimage site? Some theories even propose it was a healing center, with the blue stones believed to have mystical properties. Yet after centuries of study, Stonehenge refuses to give up its secrets. Every discovery adds another layer to the mystery, proving that some monuments weren't just built to last, they were built to make us wonder. Etched into the sun-baked plains of southern Peru, the Nazca Lines are one of archaeology's most bewildering open-air puzzles. These enormous geoglyphs, some stretching over 600 feet across, form intricate designs of animals, plants, and geometric shapes so vast they can only be fully appreciated from the air. Created between 500 BC and 500 AD, the lines were made by the Nazca people, who carefully removed the dark, iron-rich top layer of desert rock to reveal the lighter sand beneath. The precision is staggering. Straight lines run for miles without deviating, while curves maintain perfect symmetry, as if drawn by a giant's hand. What's truly mind-bending is how they achieved this without modern tools or aerial views. Researchers speculate they used simple stakes and ropes to plot out designs, scaling them up from smaller models. But why go to such lengths? Theories range from the practical to the fantastical. Some argue the lines were part of ritual pathways, walked during ceremonies to summon rain in this parched landscape. Others see celestial significance. The spider, monkey, and hummingbird glyphs may align with constellations important to Nazca cosmology. Then there's the more controversial idea that these were landing strips or signals for extraterrestrial visitors, a theory fueled by their visibility only from above. Yet the mystery deepens with the discovery of similar, older lines made by the Paracas culture on nearby hillsides, suggesting this tradition spanned generations. Even more haunting is how the desert's windless climate has preserved them for millennia, as if time itself respects their enigma. Modern technology like drones and AI has uncovered hundreds of new glyphs in recent years, some hidden by erosion or buried under dust, but each discovery brings more questions. Were they messages to the gods, maps of underground water sources, or something we haven't even considered? The Nazca Lines defy simple explanations, reminding us that ancient people saw the world and their place in it in ways we're still struggling to decipher. Perhaps the most poignant detail is how these designs remain intact, not just because of the environment, but because the Nazca people understood its rhythms. They worked with the land, not against it, creating art meant to endure. Standing in the desert today, staring at a hummingbird's wingspan carved into the earth, you're left with a humbling thought. Whatever their purpose, the Nazca Lines were meant to be seen not just by us, but by forces far beyond human understanding. Tucked away in a Yale University library, the Voynich Manuscript is perhaps the most perplexing book ever created. Its pages are filled with looping, alien script that no one has ever deciphered, alongside bizarre illustrations of unknown plants, floating castles, and nude women bathing in what appears to be green liquid. Carbon dating places its creation between 1404 and 1438, likely in northern Italy, but that's where the certainties end. Named after Wilfred Voynich, the rare book dealer who acquired it in 1912, this 240-page enigma has stumped cryptographers, linguists, and historians for over a century. The text itself is written in a unique alphabet with characters that flow like a real language, yet none match any known script. Some letters resemble Latin or medieval shorthand, while others seem entirely invented. Linguists have tried everything from frequency analysis to artificial intelligence, searching for patterns that might reveal a cipher or lost dialect. But the manuscript resists all attempts, almost as if it was designed to be unreadable. The illustrations only deepen the mystery. Herbal pages depict plants that don't exist. Celestial charts show constellations unrecognizable to modern astronomy, and biological diagrams feature tubes and odd anatomy that defy explanation. Theories about its purpose range from an elaborate hoax to a secret alchemical treatise or even an artifact from a forgotten culture. Some suggest it was crafted by a con artist to sell to a wealthy patron intrigued by the exotic. Others argue the content is too coherent for a forgery, proposing its encoded knowledge, perhaps early scientific observations deemed too dangerous to share openly. The most tantalizing clue, a faint signature that might read Jacob Tepenes, possibly referencing a 16th-century alchemist linked to Emperor Rudolf II. What makes the Voynich Manuscript endure as a mystery isn't just its undeciphered text, it's the nagging sense that somewhere, hidden in those strange symbols, lies a message meant for someone. Maybe the key has been lost to time, or maybe, just maybe, the right mind hasn't looked at it yet. Until then, it sits patiently, waiting for the day its secrets are finally spoken aloud. Rising from the sands of Giza, the Great Pyramid has stood as an architectural marvel for over 4,500 years, yet we're still uncovering its secrets. While most know it as the tomb of Pharaoh Khufu, recent discoveries reveal this ancient wonder is far more than a burial site. Hidden deep within its carefully aligned limestone blocks lies a labyrinth of unexplored passages, including a mysterious chamber dubbed the Big Void. Detected in 2017 using advanced muon tomography, a technique that scans density with cosmic rays, this 30-meter-long space sits directly above the Grand Gallery, its purpose utterly unknown. Why would builders painstakingly construct a hidden void in a structure already weighing 6 million tons? The answer might rewrite history. The precision of the pyramid's construction defies logic even today. Each block, some weighing up to 80 tons, was cut and placed with millimeter accuracy, forming a near-perfect square base aligned true north with a margin of error smaller than a football field's corner. How did Bronze Age workers achieve this without modern tools? Some theorists point to the so-called air shafts in the king's chamber, narrow ducts once thought to provide ventilation, but now believed to align with stars like Orion's belt, suggesting celestial navigation played a role. Others argue the Egyptians possessed lost technologies, citing the pyramid's unique acoustic properties. Certain chambers amplify low-frequency sound waves, hinting at ritualistic or even energy-harnessing purposes. Then there are the fringe theories claims the pyramid was built with help from advanced ancient civilizations or even extraterrestrials. While mainstream archaeology dismisses these ideas, the sheer scale of unanswered questions fuels speculation. Why does the pyramid's latitude exactly match the speed of light when converted to modern coordinates? Is it coincidence that its height multiplied by 43,200 equals Earth's polar radius? Skeptics call these numerical quirks, but believers see intentional design. What's undeniable is that every new scan reveals deeper layers to the mystery. In 2023, researchers discovered a hidden corridor behind the main entrance, possibly meant to redistribute weight or shield something deeper inside. As technology peels back the pyramid's secrets, one truth emerges. This wasn't just a tomb. It was a coded message, a cosmic clock, or perhaps something we haven't yet imagined. Until we can explore the Big Void directly, the Great Pyramid will keep its most profound secrets locked in stone. In the late 16th century, a group of English settlers arrived on Roanoke Island, off the coast of what is now North Carolina, with hopes of establishing the first permanent colony in the New World. But when a supply ship returned in 1590, the entire population, over 100 men, women, and children, had vanished without a trace. The only clue left behind was the word Croatoan carved into a wooden post and crow etched into a nearby tree. No bodies, no signs of struggle, just an eerie silence where a bustling settlement should have been. This wasn't just any disappearance, it became America's oldest unsolved mystery, a puzzle that still haunts historians today. For years, the prevailing theory was that the colonists had been massacred by local native tribes or fallen victim to disease or starvation. But recent archaeological digs tell a more nuanced story. Artifacts found inland near modern-day Bertie County suggest some settlers may have split off and integrated with the Croatoan people, the tribe hinted at in the cryptic carvings. Pottery fragments with European designs mixed with native techniques, along with metal tools and sword hilts repurposed by indigenous craftsmen, point to cultural blending. A map drawn by the colony's governor, John White, even reveals a hidden symbol indicating a possible relocation site, one that matches the location of these finds. Yet the mystery endures. Why didn't the colonists leave a clearer trail? Were they forced to flee quickly, or did they choose assimilation over isolation? Some scholars argue they may have been absorbed into the Lumbee tribe, whose oral histories speak of ancestors with grey eyes and English surnames. Others speculate Spanish raiders or a deadly conflict scattered the survivors. The truth may lie somewhere in between, a mix of cooperation and calamity, lost to time but not entirely forgotten. What makes Roanoke so compelling isn't just the unanswered questions. It's the lingering sense of a story deliberately half-told, as if the settlers wanted to be found but only by those who knew where to look. Every new discovery peels back another layer, proving that some mysteries don't vanish. They just wait for the right moment to be rediscovered. Scattered across the rolling green hills of northern Laos, the Plain of Jars is one of Southeast Asia's most haunting archaeological riddles. Thousands of massive stone jars, some standing 10 feet tall and weighing several tons, dot the landscape in clusters of up to 400, their origins lost to time. Carved from sandstone, granite, or limestone, these vessels are rough-hewn yet meticulously placed, with no clear indication of who made them or how they transported such colossal objects over miles of rugged terrain. Local legends say giants once ruled this land, using the jars to store rice wine after great battles, but archaeologists have a more sobering theory. These were ancient burial chambers holding cremated remains or bones of the dead. Excavations have uncovered human remains, pottery shards, and iron tools buried near the jars, supporting the idea of a funerary purpose dating back as early as 500 BC. Yet mysteries linger. Why are some jars adorned with carvings of human faces or circles, while others remain blank? Did they belong to a single culture, or were they used by different groups over centuries? Some researchers propose the jars were part of a vast trade network, storing goods along a forgotten route linking India and China. Others point to their alignment with celestial events, suggesting rituals tied to the stars. The real tragedy, though, isn't just the unanswered questions. It's the danger that keeps researchers from finding answers. During the Vietnam War, Laos became the most bombed country per capita in history, with millions of unexploded ordnance, or UXO, still littering the Plain of Jars. Less than 10% of the sites have been safely cleared, leaving vast areas inaccessible. Teams must navigate with metal detectors, painstakingly scanning every inch before digging. It's a race against time as looters and erosion threaten untouched artifacts. Despite these risks, new discoveries keep emerging. In 2021, ground-penetrating radar revealed underground chambers near the jars, hinting at a complex burial system. Meanwhile, DNA analysis of skeletal remains suggests connections to modern ethnic groups, offering tantalizing clues about the jars' creators. Each find peels back another layer, but the Plain of Jars refuses to give up its secrets easily. It stands as a monument to both human ingenuity and the scars of history, a silent enigma waiting for the day it can finally speak. Beneath the crystal-clear waters off Japan's Yonaguni Island lies a structure so perplexing it sparked a decades-long debate. Is this the ruins of a lost civilization, or Mother Nature's most convincing impersonation of one? Discovered in 1986 by a diver exploring the island's coastline, the Yonaguni Monument is a series of massive, flat terraced formations resembling stepped pyramids, complete with what appear to be right angles, straight walls, and even a towering structure locals call the Turtle. At first glance, it looks like an ancient city swallowed by the sea, but geologists aren't so sure. Proponents of the man-made theory point to the monument's uncanny symmetry. The main structure, dubbed the megalith, rises over 80 feet from the ocean floor, with near-perfect 90-degree corners and flat platforms that seem deliberately leveled. Nearby, two round holes aligned like eyes peer from a rock face, while a long, straight pathway nicknamed the Road stretches across the seabed. Marine archaeologist Masaki Kimura has spent years studying the site, arguing that tool marks and carvings resemble known ancient Okinawan monuments. He even suggests the structure could be part of the mythical lost continent of Mu, a Pacific counterpart to Atlantis. But skeptics, including geologist Robert Skock, counter that sandstone. The rock composing Yonaguni naturally fractures into geometric shapes due to tectonic stress. They point to similar formations above water on the island, where natural erosion creates identical stepped patterns. The tool marks, just scratches from crashing waves and coral growth. Even the turtle could be a fluke of geology shaped by currents over millennia. Yet intriguingly, neither side can fully explain a set of stone tablets found nearby, etched with symbols resembling primitive writing. Diving deeper into the mystery reveals even stranger details. Sonar mapping shows what might be a massive archway and a column still standing upright, while scattered boulders appear strategically placed as if part of a larger layout. Some divers report feeling an eerie sense of intentional design, as if the rocks were arranged to guide movement or mark something sacred. Meanwhile, carbon dating suggests the area submerged around 10,000 years ago, a time when human settlements were thought to be far simpler. Could an advanced culture have thrived here only to vanish beneath rising seas? The truth may lie somewhere in between. Nature is capable of astonishing mimicry, but human hands have reshaped landscapes in ways we're still discovering. Whether Yonaguni is a geological marvel or a sunken relic, it challenges our understanding of history's boundaries. Every expedition to its shadowy depths brings new clues and new questions. Until definitive proof surfaces, this underwater enigma remains a tantalizing glimpse into the blurred line between Earth's artistry and humanity's legacy. Off the coast of Nova Scotia, buried beneath layers of mud, timber, and centuries of speculation, lies the Oak Island Money Pit, a hole in the ground that has lured treasure hunters to their ruin for over 200 years. It all began in 1795 when a teenager named Daniel Maginnis spotted a strange, circular depression in the earth with an old ship's pulley dangling from a tree above it. Digging down, he and his friends hit layers of logs every 10 feet, along with flagstones and mysterious markings. By the time they reached 30 feet, water began flooding the shaft, forcing them to abandon their quest. Thus began one of history's most obsessive treasure hunts, one that has consumed fortunes, claimed lives, and sparked theories wilder than fiction. Theories about what lies at the bottom of the pit range from the plausible to the fantastical. Some believe it holds the lost treasure of Captain Kidd or Blackbeard, pirates who allegedly stashed their loot along the Atlantic coast. Others argue it's the final resting place of the Knights Templars, fabled rich as gold, sacred relics, even the Ark of the Covenant smuggled out of Europe during their persecution. More outlandish suggestions include Marie Antoinette's missing jewels or original Shakespearean manuscripts, the pit's infamous flood tunnels, engineered to fill the shaft with seawater if disturbed, suggest someone went to extraordinary lengths to protect whatever's down there. But skeptics counter that these might just be natural limestone cavities, part of the island's porous geology. Modern expeditions have only deepened the intrigue. In 2014, sonar scans revealed an underground chamber nearly 200 feet down, its contents still unknown. Divers retrieved a single Spanish coin from the 1600s, while core samples brought up strands of human hair and bits of parchment, hints that someone at some point buried something of value. Yet every breakthrough seems to come with a curse. Excavation efforts have been plagued by collapses, equipment failures, and unexplained accidents, leading some to whisper of a money pit curse. 6 men have died pursuing this treasure, adding a grim layer to the legend. The latest chapter unfolded in 2023 when a team using ground-penetrating radar detected a hidden metallic mass in a previously unexplored tunnel. Could this finally be the fabled treasure or just another cruel trick of geology? the answer remains tantalizingly out of reach, much like the pit itself. What keeps people digging isn't just gold, it's the stubborn refusal of Oak Island to surrender its secrets. Every shovel of dirt raises new questions, proving that some mysteries aren't meant to be solved. They're meant to keep us searching. High on a windswept hill in southeastern Turkey, the stone pillars of Göbekli Tepe stand as silent witnesses to a forgotten chapter of human history. Dating back nearly 12,000 years, 7 millennia older than Stonehenge, this sprawling complex of circular enclosures and towering limestone carvings shouldn't exist. According to everything we thought we knew about prehistoric societies, humans of that era were nomadic hunter-gatherers, too busy surviving to orchestrate grand construction projects. Yet here, in the heart of the Fertile Crescent, ancient builders erected 20 massive T-shaped pillars, some weighing over 16 tons and adorned with intricate carvings of foxes, scorpions, and vultures. The scale alone is staggering, but it's the implications that truly rewrite history. Archaeologists initially assumed Göbekli Tepe was a burial site, but not a single human grave has been found. Instead, the carvings tell a different story. The pillars aren't just decorative, they're eerily anthropomorphic, with slender arms carved along their sides and belts draped around their middles as if frozen in mid-ritual. Some scholars believe these represent deities or ancestors, suggesting a spiritual purpose that united far-flung tribes. Even more baffling, the site was deliberately buried around 8000 BC, filled in with tons of soil and rubble as if sealing away its secrets. What makes Göbekli Tepe revolutionary isn't just its age, it's what it reveals about human collaboration. Moving these pillars would have required hundreds of workers, coordinated over generations, at a time when we supposedly lacked the social structures for such efforts. The artisanship is equally advanced. Carvings show detailed knowledge of animal anatomy, and the pillars align with celestial events, hinting at early astronomy. This wasn't just a temple, it may have been the spark that ignited civilization itself, drawing nomadic bands together for rituals that eventually led to farming settlements. Yet the mystery of its abandonment lingers. Was it climate change as the Younger Dryas period brought drought, a shift in belief systems, or something more ominous, hinted at by the vulture carvings, birds often associated with death rituals? Every excavation peels back another layer, proving that our ancestors were far more complex than we ever imagined. Göbekli Tepe doesn't just challenge the timeline of human progress, it dares us to reconsider what we're capable of and what secrets still lie buried beneath the dust of millennia. In February 1959, 9 experienced hikers set up camp on the frozen slopes of Russia's Ural Mountains. By morning, they were dead torn from their tents, half-dressed in sub-zero temperatures, their bodies scattered across the snow with injuries that defied logic. Broken ribs, a missing tongue, clothes contaminated with radioactive traces. This wasn't just a tragic accident, it was the Dyatlov Pass incident, a mystery so chilling that 60 years later, experts still can't agree on what really happened that night. The official Soviet investigation closed the case as an unknown compelling force, but the details haunt anyone who digs deeper. The hiker's tent was slashed open from the inside as if they fled in panic. Footprints showed some walked barefoot in snow deep enough to swallow a person. When searchers found the bodies weeks later, 2 had massive internal trauma, like they'd been hit by a car, yet no external wounds. One victim's skull was fractured, another's eyes were missing. Most unsettling, a later examination found elevated radiation on their clothes, and some had skin eerily tinted orange. Modern theories range from the plausible to the paranormal. Avalanche explanations gained traction in 2021 when computer models showed a rare slab avalanche could have triggered their frantic escape, but that doesn't account for the radiation or why some bodies were found uphill. Others point to secret military tests. Declassified documents reveal the area was used for parachute mine experiments, and nearby indigenous tribes reported strange glowing orbs in the sky that winter. Then there's the infrasound angle. Wind patterns that night could have generated frequencies causing panic and irrational behavior. Forensic breakthroughs in recent years add new layers. Analysis of the victims' injuries suggests they might have been caught in a katabatic wind, a sudden, violent downdraft capable of hurling grown men like rag dolls. Yet no weather station recorded such an event. Meanwhile, those orange-tinted skin patches, they match rare forms of frostbite seen in extreme cold, but conspiracy theorists insist it's proof of chemical exposure. With Soviet archives still partially sealed, we may never know the full truth. What lingers isn't just the gruesome details, but the unanswered question: what could make 9 trained mountaineers abandon shelter in lethal cold without boots or coats? The Dyatlov Pass incident remains a warning that nature, or perhaps something else, holds terrors we still don't understand. Every proposed solution feels incomplete, leaving us to stare at those faded black and white photos of smiling hikers, unaware they were walking into history's most infamous cold case. Isolated in the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean, Easter Island's towering Moai statues stand as silent guardians of a lost world. These monolithic figures, some weighing as much as 80 tons and standing 30 feet tall, were carved from volcanic rock between 1300 and 1500 AD by the Rapa Nui people. But how did a civilization without wheels or draft animals transport these colossal statues miles across rugged terrain? The answer lies in an ingenious feat of engineering and a cautionary tale about the cost of human ambition. For decades, their movement seemed impossible. Early European visitors speculated the statues were dragged on wooden sledges, an idea later dismissed when experiments showed it would have destroyed the island's fragile ecosystem. Then in 2012, archaeologists tested a radical theory. The Moai were walked, using ropes to rock the statues forward in a shuffling motion like moving a refrigerator by tilting it side to side. A small team demonstrated how just 18 people could maneuver a 10-ton replica upright across rough ground. This method matches oral traditions passed down by the Rapa Nui, who spoke of the statues walking to their ceremonial platforms or ahu. But the real marvel isn't just the how, it's the why. Each Moai was more than art. It was a sacred vessel believed to channel the spirits of ancestors, watching over villages and ensuring prosperity. Carved with distinctive elongated features and topknots of red scoria stone, they faced inward toward the living, not outward to see, a detail often misunderstood. The largest, named Paro, took an estimated 20 years to carve and transport, a staggering communal effort. Yet by the time Europeans arrived in 1722, many statues lay toppled, their platforms abandoned. What happened? The prevailing theory points to ecological collapse. Deforestation, fueled by the need for logs to move statues, led to soil erosion and crop failure. As resources vanished, clan rivalries erupted, and the Moai were violently overthrown in a societal breakdown. But newer research complicates this narrative. Pollen studies reveal the island's palm forests were already declining before human arrival, possibly due to climate shifts. Rats, introduced by Polynesian settlers, may have devoured tree seeds, accelerating the crisis. The truth likely lies in a perfect storm of natural and human factors, a warning about sustainability etched in stone. Today, preservation efforts walk a delicate line. Acid rain and salt erosion threaten the statues, while tourism risks damaging fragile archaeological sites. Teams from Chile and Japan use 3D mapping to monitor cracks, and some toppled Moai have been painstakingly re-erected, honoring their original placements. But perhaps the most profound lesson of Easter Island isn't just how the Moai moved, it's what their story whispers across centuries about balance, reverence, and the consequences of losing both. Perched on the steep limestone cliffs of the Philippine Cordillera Mountains, the hanging coffins of Sagoda defy gravity and time. For over 2,000 years, the indigenous Igorot people have practiced this surreal burial tradition, suspending their dead in hand-carved wooden coffins high above the ground. Some cling to the rock face by ropes, while others rest precariously on narrow ledges or inside caves, weathering centuries of rain and wind without rotting away. The sight is both eerie and poetic, a testament to a belief system that sees death not as an end, but as a sacred reunion with the earth and sky. The ritual begins long before death. Elders carve their own coffins from hollowed-out logs, often testing the fit while still alive to ensure perfection. When someone passes, their body is washed with herbs and smoke dried over a fire in a fetal position, mirroring the way they entered the world. This preservation method, combined with the elevation, creates conditions that slow decomposition dramatically. But the real magic lies in the why. The Igorot believe placing coffins high up brings the deceased closer to ancestral spirits, while also protecting them from floods and wild animals. It's practical and spiritual, a bridge between worlds. Similar traditions exist globally, yet each culture adds its own twist. In China's Yangtze River gorges, the Bo people suspended coffins in caves, some dating back 3,000 years. Unlike Sagada's exposed cliffs, these were hidden sanctuaries, accessible only by rope ladders, possibly to deter grave robbers. Meanwhile, in Indonesia's Toraja region, babies who died before teething are buried in living trees, their bodies absorbed into the bark as the tree grows, symbolizing renewal. What unites these practices isn't just the act of elevation, but a shared understanding of death as a continuum, not a cutoff. Modern challenges now threaten Sagada's tradition. Younger generations, influenced by Christianity and urbanization, increasingly opt for conventional burials. Only a handful of elders still practice the old ways, and UNESCO has flagged the coffins as endangered cultural heritage. Yet for those who uphold it, the ritual remains a defiant act of memory. To stand beneath those cliffs is to witness a dialogue between the living and the dead, where every swaying coffin whispers, "We are still here." Deep in the rocky desert near Lake Titicaca, Peru, a rectangular doorway carved into solid stone pulses with myth and mystery. Known as Aramumuru, or the Gate of the Gods, this 7-meter-tall structure resembles a portal straight out of science fiction, but its origins are far older than any modern tale. According to local legend, an Incan priest fleeing Spanish conquistadors in the 16th century carried a golden disc to this spot. When he touched the disc to a small depression in the doorway's center, the rock shimmered and opened, allowing him to step through. Never to be seen again. What makes this site so compelling isn't just folklore, it's the precision of the carvings. The doorway's frame features grooves and indentations that look almost technological, as if designed to hold mechanisms or seals. At its base, a smaller, human-sized alcove matches the exact dimensions of other sacred Incan niches found in temples like Machu Picchu. Yet, unlike those sites, Aramumuru shows no signs of being part of a larger structure. It stands alone, as if meant to be discovered. Shamans still visit the site today, performing rituals near the doorway, convinced it's a conduit for spiritual energy. Skeptics argue it's nothing more than an unfinished Incan construction, abandoned when the stonemasons realized the rock was flawed. But experiences reported by visitors defy simple explanations. Some claim to feel vibrations or hear humming sounds near the doorway. Others describe visions, flashes of light, figures in ancient dress, or even momentary glimpses of a lush, otherworldly landscape beyond the stone. Thermal imaging has detected odd temperature fluctuations around the frame, while electromagnetic meters sometimes spike unpredictably. Theories about its purpose range from the practical to the fantastical. Could it have been a ceremonial altar, a star map aligning with solstice sunrises, or, as some New Age researchers insist, a literal stargate built by extraterrestrials or an advanced prehistoric civilization? Geologists confirm the rock is solid, with no hidden chambers, yet the legends persist. modern expeditions using ground-penetrating radar have found unusual mineral deposits beneath the doorway, including traces of quartz and metals known to conduct energy. Whether a sacred site or a geological oddity, Arumumuru challenges our understanding of the past. Unlike neatly catalogued ruins, this doorway refuses categorization. It exists at the intersection of history and myth, science and spirituality, a place where the line between reality and imagination blurs. Every scratch on its surface, every whispered story from locals adds another layer to the enigma. Perhaps the true purpose of Arumumuru isn't to provide answers, but to remind us that some mysteries are meant to linger, tugging at the edges of what we think we know. For centuries, Hindu scriptures spoke of a magnificent city named Dwarka, built by Lord Krishna himself, a place of golden spires and grand palaces said to vanish beneath the waves after his death. Many dismissed it as myth until marine archaeologists stumbled upon something astonishing off the coast of modern-day Gujarat. Beneath 60 feet of water lay a sprawling network of stone walls, pillars, and geometric structures, some dating back 9,000 years. The discovery sent shockwaves through the academic world. Had they found the legendary sunken city, or was this just nature's clever mimicry? Excavations revealed artifacts that blurred the line between legend and history. Pottery shards, carved anchors, and even a stone slab etched with ancient script matched descriptions from the Mahabharata, the epic recounting Krishna's kingdom. Divers brought up stone structures arranged in perfect right angles unlikely to form naturally, while sonar mapped out what appeared to be a grid of streets, aligning eerily with texts describing Dwarka's layout. Critics argue these could be remnants of a much later settlement submerged by rising seas around 1500 B.C. But carbon dating of wooden artifacts pushes the timeline far earlier, challenging conventional timelines of urban civilization in the region. The debate hinges on geology versus human hands. Natural sedimentary formations can create angular rocks, but the sheer scale and repetition of these structures suggest intentional design. Then there's the depth. Sea levels 9,000 years ago were nearly 100 meters lower, meaning this city, if man-made, would have thrived during a period when humans were supposedly just transitioning from hunter-gatherers to farmers. Could an advanced society have risen and fallen long before history began recording its triumphs? Local fishermen have long whispered about Krishna's lost city, describing unnatural shapes glimpsed beneath the waves during clear tides. Modern researchers now take these accounts seriously, using remotely operated vehicles to explore deeper sections where human divers can't reach. In 2022, a team uncovered a circular structure resembling descriptions of Krishna's celestial discus, further fueling the connection. Yet skeptics counter that wishful thinking might color interpretations. After all, myths often evolve to mirror real discoveries. What makes Dwarka so tantalizing isn't just the potential proof of an ancient metropolis. It's the realization that our ancestors' stories might hold kernels of truth, waiting for technology to uncover them. Whether this sunken site is Krishna's city or a forgotten Bronze Age port, its silent stones remind us that history's deepest mysteries often lie just beneath the surface, both of the water and of our understanding. Rising like a modern-day Stonehenge in rural Georgia, the Georgia Guidestones presented a cryptic puzzle from the moment they appeared in 1980. Towering 19 feet tall, 6 massive granite slabs formed a star-shaped monument, each inscribed with 10 directives for humanity translated into 8 languages on how to rebuild civilization after an apocalypse. The first rule set the tone: maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. But who erected this eerie structure and why? The answer vanished with the man who commissioned it, a shadowy figure using the pseudonym Robert C. Christian, claiming to represent a group planning for humanity's distant future. The monument's origins read like a spy novel. In 1979, a well-dressed stranger walked into Elberton Granite Finishing Company requesting an edifice capable of withstanding catastrophic events. He paid in full via untraceable cashier's checks, provided exact astronomical specifications, the slabs aligned with solstices and equinoxes, and vanished. Workers later recalled odd details: Christian's uncanny knowledge of granite engineering, his insistence on a remote location, and his claim that the stones would serve as a compass, calendar, and clock for survivors. Conspiracy theorists pounced. Was this a blueprint for population control by global elites? A New Age manifesto? Even the Guidestone's demolition in 2022 by a mysterious bombing only deepened the intrigue. Critics noted chilling parallels between the directives and dystopian tropes, calls for euthanasia, eugenics, and a single global language. Yet others argued the monument was merely a thought experiment, a what-if carved in stone. The Guidestone's alignment with celestial events mirrored ancient observatories, suggesting a mix of practicality and mysticism. Then there were the additions: a buried time capsule never filled, and a secret Rosetta Stone tablet allegedly explaining the monument's purpose, though its contents remain undisclosed. The bombing that shattered the Guidestones in July 2022 felt ripped from a thriller. Security footage showed a hooded figure planting explosives, yet no group claimed responsibility. Days later, the remains were demolished by the landowner, citing safety concerns, but many suspected a cover-up. Had someone silenced a dangerous message? Or erased a hoax that outlived its usefulness? What lingers isn't just the rubble, but the questions. Were the Guidestones a warning, a prophecy, or an elaborate prank? The truth might lie in the contradictions between the anonymous creator's meticulous planning and the monument's chaotic end. Like all great mysteries, it refuses to be solved, leaving us to wonder, were we meant to decode its message or to question why we feared it in the first place? Hidden beneath the rolling hills of Zhejiang Province, China's Longyu Caves are an underground labyrinth that defies logic. Discovered by accident in 1992 when a local farmer drained a small pond, these caverns aren't natural formations. They're a sprawling network of hand-carved chambers, each one a masterpiece of precision engineering. The sheer scale is staggering. 24 grottos discovered so far, some reaching heights of nearly 100 feet, with pillars supporting ceilings and walls covered in intricate parallel chisel marks. Every surface bears the unmistakable signs of human labor, yet not a single historical record mentions their construction. Who carved these caves, and why would such a massive project vanish from history? The craftsmanship is what truly baffles experts. Each grotto follows a near-identical design, with smooth, sloped walls meeting at perfect 60-degree angles, a consistency that suggests a grand, coordinated effort. The pillars are spaced with mathematical regularity, and the chisel marks run in uniform lines as if made by a machine. Even more perplexing, the cave's ceilings and walls are adorned with carved symbols resembling fish and birds, yet their meaning remains a mystery. Modern engineers estimate that removing the roughly 1 million cubic meters of stone would have required 1,000 workers laboring non-stop for 6 years. So why does no chronicle, no folk tale, not even a passing reference in ancient texts acknowledge this undertaking? Theories about the cave's purpose range from imperial quarries to secret military bunkers, but nothing fully fits. Some scholars point to the presence of soot on the ceilings, hinting at possible torches or lamps, while others note the absence of debris. Every ounce of excavated stone was seemingly hauled away without a trace. Local legends whisper of supernatural origins, claiming the caves were dug in a single night by gods or spirits. More grounded hypotheses suggest they might have served as reservoirs or flood control systems, yet the carvings and architectural flourishes seem too elaborate for purely functional use. Perhaps the most unsettling detail is how the caves interact with sound. certain chambers produce eerie echoes or amplify whispers in unexpected ways, leading some researchers to speculate they were designed for acoustic rituals. One grotto, nicknamed the Whispering Gallery, allows a person standing at one end to hear a pin drop at the other, a feature found in ancient Greek theaters but otherwise unknown in China at the time. Could these caves have been a lost ceremonial site, a place where sound itself was worshipped? Modern technology has only deepened the enigma. Laser scans reveal hidden chambers possibly connected by underwater passages, while mineral deposits suggest sections might have been intentionally flooded. Yet the deeper we dig, the more questions arise. Without written records, the Longyou caves stand as a silent monument to a forgotten chapter of human ingenuity, one that challenges our assumptions about what ancient societies were capable of and what they chose to remember. Deep beneath the labyrinthine streets of Moscow, a legend has tantalized treasure hunters and historians for centuries: the lost library of Ivan the Terrible. Tsar Ivan IV, ruler of Russia in the 1500s, was said to have amassed an unparalleled collection of ancient manuscripts, scrolls, and texts so vast it rivaled the famed Library of Alexandria. Among its rumored treasures were rare Greek and Roman works, Byzantine religious texts, and even lost chronicles from the Mongol Empire. But when Ivan died in 1584, the library vanished without a trace, leaving behind only cryptic references in old court documents and the whispered rumors of generations. The hunt for this fabled trove has spanned nearly 500 years, with seekers digging through Moscow's underground tunnels, catacombs, and even the foundations of the Kremlin itself. Some accounts claim Ivan hid the collection in secret chambers beneath the city, perhaps beneath the old Kitay-Gorod district or within the warren-like passages of the legendary Metro 2, a Cold War-era subterranean network. Others speculate the library was walled up inside the Kremlin's hidden vaults, its entrance bricked over to protect it from invaders or political upheaval. The most persistent theory, though, places it beneath the depths of the Moscow River, sealed away in flooded tunnels designed to deter looters. Modern technology has brought new hope to the search. Ground-penetrating radar scans have revealed unexplained voids beneath the Kremlin's Arsenal Tower, while electromagnetic surveys detected anomalous structures under the city's oldest neighborhoods. In 2019, a team using LiDAR mapping uncovered what might be a network of previously unknown tunnels snaking beneath Zaryadai Park, some lined with bricks matching 16th-century construction methods. But the real breakthrough came when digitized archives of Ivan's correspondence hinted at a great repository beneath the Church of the Annunciation, a site now buried under centuries of urban development. Skeptics argue the library might be a myth, conflating scattered royal collections into a single grand narrative, yet the circumstantial evidence is hard to ignore. Ivan's grandfather, Ivan III, married Sophia Palaeologina, a Byzantine princess who reportedly brought crates of manuscripts fleeing the fall of Constantinople. Contemporary diplomats wrote of the Tsar's obsession with rare books and inventories from his reign mention texts that later disappear from history. Even Stalin allegedly ordered a secret search for the library in the 1930s, believing it might hold esoteric knowledge or strategic secrets. What makes the Lost Library so compelling isn't just the potential for rediscovering forgotten works, it's the possibility of rewriting history. Among the rumored contents is the Liber Vedastus, a supposed guide to ancient Slavic paganism, and texts that could reshape our understanding of medieval Eurasia. But until someone uncovers a chamber filled with crumbling parchment or waterlogged chests, the library remains a ghost, a whisper of knowledge just beyond our reach, waiting for the right explorer, the right tool, or the right stroke of luck to bring it back into the light. In the quiet town of Homestead, Florida, a lone Latvian immigrant named Edward Liedskalnin spent 28 years crafting one of the modern world's most baffling monuments entirely by hand. The Coral Castle, as it's now known, is a sprawling complex of massive limestone sculptures, some weighing up to 30 tons, carved and arranged with such precision that even today, engineers can't fully explain how one man managed it alone. Leedskalnin, a frail 5-foot-tall man weighing barely 100 pounds, claimed to have rediscovered the ancient secrets of the pyramid's knowledge that allowed him to move and shape stone as if it were light as foam. The castle's centerpiece is a 9-ton gate so perfectly balanced that a child could push it open with a finger, yet so precisely fitted that it didn't budge for decades, even during hurricanes. Nearby, a 25-ton obelisk rises skyward, while a rocking chair carved from a single block of stone moves smoothly without modern bearings. Leedskalnin worked mostly at night by lantern light, refusing to let anyone watch his process. When asked how he managed such feats, he'd only smile and say, "I understand the laws of weight and leverage." But neighbors told darker stories of hearing him sing to the stones or witnessing blocks levitate as if guided by invisible hands. Scientists have tried to reverse engineer his methods for decades. Some propose he used a system of pulleys and counterweights, though no such equipment was found after his death. Others point to his cryptic writings about perpetual motion holders and magnetic currents, suggesting he tapped into some forgotten form of energy manipulation. Skeptics argue he simply employed clever physics like placing stones on wooden tripods to pivot them into place, but even they can't explain how he single-handedly quarried and transported such massive blocks without heavy machinery. The most tantalizing clue lies in a blurry photograph from 1944, showing Leedskalnin posing next to what appears to be a makeshift tripod with a strange box at its apex. Some researchers believe this device, which he called his perpetual motion holder, generated an anti-gravity field or altered the stone's density. Modern experiments with acoustic levitation using sound waves to suspend objects hint that vibration could theoretically reduce friction, making massive weights easier to move. Yet without blueprints or first-hand accounts, the truth remains as enigmatic as the man himself. Leedskalnin took his secrets to the grave in 1951, leaving behind only a riddle carved into the castle walls. You will be seeing unusual accomplishment. Whether his work was genius, madness, or something beyond our current understanding, the Coral Castle stands as a testament to human potential and a reminder that some mysteries refuse to surrender their answers, no matter how hard we pry. East of Japan, where the Pacific Ocean stretches into endless blue, lies a patch of water so treacherous that sailors have dubbed it the Devil's Sea or the Dragon's Triangle. This region, forming a rough triangle between Japan, the Bonin Islands, and Guam, mirrors the Bermuda Triangle in both its eerie reputation and its long list of unexplained disappearances. Ships vanish without distress calls, planes drop off radar mid-flight. Even government investigations have ended in frustration, leaving behind more questions than answers. But while the Bermuda Triangle's legends are steeped in Western lore, the Devil's Sea is woven into centuries of Japanese maritime fear, with records of vanishing vessels dating back to at least the 1200s. The parallels between the two triangles are uncanny. Both sit along busy shipping lanes where heavy traffic statistically increases the odds of accidents, yet the Devil's Sea adds a geological twist. This stretch of ocean is part of the Pacific Ring of Fire, a hotbed of volcanic and seismic activity. Underwater trenches plunge miles deep, and sudden methane eruptions from the seafloor could theoretically destabilize ships, swallowing them before crews have time to react. Add unpredictable weather patterns and the Kuroshio Current, a swirling river of water stronger than the Gulf Stream, and you've got a recipe for disaster. But it wasn't just nature that caught Japan's attention. In the 1950s, after a string of high-profile disappearances including the Kayo Maru no. 5, a research vessel sent to study the phenomenon that itself vanished, the Japanese government officially labeled the area a danger zone. the incident remains one of history's strangest twists, a ship tasked with solving the mystery becoming part of it. What sets the Dragon's Triangle apart, though, is its connection to myth. Ancient Japanese texts speak of underwater palaces ruled by dragons, where boats and their crews were dragged beneath the waves as offerings. Fishermen tell of strange lights flickering beneath the surface, or sudden whirlpools appearing where charts show calm waters. Modern theorists have latched onto these accounts, proposing everything from alien abductions to interdimensional portals. Yet scientists point to more tangible forces, like magnetic anomalies from volcanic rock interfering with navigation systems, or rogue waves fueled by the region's unique topography. The most compelling evidence, however, comes from the seafloor itself. Sonar surveys reveal wreckage scattered across the abyss, some identifiable, others too broken to trace. In 2016, a deep-sea drone captured images of what might be the Kayo Maru no. 5, resting nearly 3 miles down, though strong currents have prevented closer inspection. Meanwhile, declassified documents from Japan's Coast Guard admit that even today, disappearances occur at a rate 3 times higher here than in other Pacific waters. Whether supernatural or simply a confluence of natural dangers, the Devil's Sea remains a reminder that some corners of our planet refuse to be tamed. It's not just about ships vanishing, it's about how easily the ocean can erase even the search for answers. Beneath the sleepy streets of Paula, Malta, lies a labyrinth that defies both time and logic, the Hypogeum of Hal Saflieni. This 3-level underground temple, carved from solid limestone around 5,000 years ago, isn't just a burial site or ceremonial chamber. It's an acoustic marvel, a spiritual amplifier, and a puzzle box of prehistoric engineering. As you descend into its shadowy corridors, the air hums with something inexplicable, a resonance so precise that certain chambers can carry whispers across distances, while others amplify voices into eerie, otherworldly echoes. But the Hypogeum's mysteries don't end with sound. Hidden within its deepest recesses are clues that have fueled whispers of an ancient race unlike any we've known. The acoustics alone would be enough to baffle modern scientists. In the so-called oracle chamber, a deep male voice uttered at the right pitch can send vibrations reverberating through the entire complex, a phenomenon that would require an advanced understanding of sound wave behavior. Researchers theorize the Neolithic builders sculpted the ceilings and walls to specific angles, creating a natural frequency filter that muffles certain tones while amplifying others. Was this intentional? Did they use these sonic properties in rituals, harnessing sound to alter consciousness or commune with deities? The effect is so profound that some visitors report feeling dizzy or emotionally overwhelmed, as if the stones themselves retain a memory of the chants and drumbeats that once filled these halls. Then there are the skulls. During early excavations in the 1900s, archaeologists uncovered remains that sent shockwaves through the scientific community, elongated craniums, far larger than typical human skulls with curiously stretched parietal bones. These weren't the result of head binding, a practice seen in other ancient cultures. The volume and shape of the skulls suggested a naturally larger cranial capacity, sparking wild theories about a lost race of giants or even extraterrestrial visitors. Maltese folklore speaks of the serpent people, beings of great wisdom who vanished beneath the earth, leaving only traces of their existence. While mainstream scholars dismiss this as myth, the skulls themselves vanished soon after their discovery, allegedly shipped to London for study, only to disappear from the records. Today, only a few grainy photographs and written accounts remain, leaving us to wonder who or what were these beings. The Hypogeum's design only deepens the enigma. Its 3 tiers mirror the architecture of above-ground megalithic temples like Haga Kim, suggesting a symbolic journey from the living world to the realm of the dead. Spiral carvings and red ochre paintings adorn the walls, their meanings lost to time. Some chambers are so narrow they could only be entered crawling, while others open into vast cathedral-like spaces. Most haunting of all is the Holy of Holies, a room carved to resemble the arched facades of Malta's surface temples, its ceiling blackened by millennia of torch smoke. Here, beneath a ceiling painted with celestial spirals, archaeologists found the bones of over 7,000 individuals, a mass burial hinting at cataclysmic events or sacred rites we can scarcely comprehend. Modern technology has peeled back some layers of the mystery. Laser scans reveal hidden niches and passages sealed off in antiquity, while acoustic mapping confirms the precision of the temple's sound dynamics. Yet the hypogeum guards its secrets fiercely. Access is tightly controlled to preserve its delicate microclimate, and even today, only a handful of visitors are allowed inside daily. Some say the air still carries the faint scent of ancient herbs, or that on quiet days you can hear whispers rising from the stones themselves. Whether a sacred necropolis, a sonic temple, or the last relic of a forgotten people, the hypogeum remains a silent oracle, one that refuses to speak its truths outright but lingers in the echoes, waiting for someone to listen. In the sun-scorched expanse of Death Valley's racetrack playa, nature stages one of its most surreal performances. Here, rocks, some weighing hundreds of pounds, glide across the flat desert floor, leaving long, meandering trails behind them as if moved by invisible hands. For decades, these sailing stones baffled scientists and visitors alike. How could stones slide across dry mud without human or animal intervention? The answer, when it finally came, was as elegant as it was unexpected. But even with the mystery seemingly solved, the playa keeps a few secrets tucked beneath its cracked surface. The breakthrough came in 2014 when researchers equipped with time-lapse cameras and GPS sensors witnessed the phenomenon in action. They discovered that rare winter conditions create the perfect recipe for movement. On cold nights, thin sheets of ice form over the playa's surface. When sunlight melts the ice during the day, it fractures into floating panels pushed by gentle winds. These ice sheets act like invisible bulldozers, nudging rocks across the slick mud at speeds so slow, just a few inches per minute, that the motion is imperceptible to the naked eye. The trails, some stretching over 1,000 feet, are etched into the earth like signatures of an ephemeral dance between ice, stone, and wind. Yet the deeper scientists looked, the more nuances emerged. Not all rocks move at the same time or in the same direction, even when conditions seem identical. Some pivot mid-trail, leaving sharp zigzags or looping curves, while others sit stubbornly still for years. The playa's surface plays a role too. Its clay-rich mud must be saturated just enough to become slippery, but not so wet that it traps the stones. Wind speeds also need to be just right, strong enough to push the ice, but not so fierce that it shatters the delicate sheets. It's a Goldilocks scenario where temperature, moisture, and breeze align in a fleeting, perfect balance. What makes the sailing stones so captivating isn't just the solution to their movement, it's the reminder that nature's simplest phenomena can hold layers of complexity. Modern tools solved part of the puzzle, but the playa still guards its whims. Why do some rocks travel solo while others seem to move in synchronized pairs? How do boulders weighing nearly 700 pounds slide when smaller ones remain stuck? And why, in over a century of observation, has no one ever seen the largest stones like the famed Charon, a 300-pound wanderer actually in motion? Perhaps the most poetic detail is the ephemerality of it all. The trails vanish when summer rains soften the playa, erasing all evidence until the next icy winter. It's as if the stones themselves are in on the secret, moving only when no one's watching, leaving behind just enough clues to keep us guessing. In a world where we often assume every mystery has been solved, Death Valley's sailing stones whisper a humbling truth. Some forces of nature prefer to reveal their magic on their own terms. Deep in the Siberian wilderness, where the taiga forest gives way to rocky outcrops and frozen rivers, a geological oddity looms like something from another world. The Patamsky crater, known locally as the Fire Eagle Nest, rises nearly 40 meters from the Earth, a stark, cone-shaped mound with a perfectly round depression at its summit, as if some colossal fist punched down from the sky. Discovered in 1949 by geologist Vadim Kolpakov, this formation defies easy explanation. Is it the scar of an ancient meteorite, the aftermath of a uranium explosion, or evidence of secret Soviet nuclear experiments gone awry? The truth, much like the crater itself, seems to shift the closer you look. What sets the Fire Eagle Nest apart isn't just its bizarre shape, it's the strange phenomena surrounding it. Magnetic surveys reveal wild fluctuations in the area, with compass needles spinning erratically near the crater's rim. Trees in the vicinity grow at bizarre angles, their trunks twisted as if subjected to intense, invisible forces. Locals from the nearby Evenki tribes have long avoided the site, speaking of a cursed valley, where animals vanish and fires ignite spontaneously. Even Kolpakov himself reported an uncanny feeling of dread during his initial survey, as if the land itself resisted scrutiny. Scientists have tossed theories at the crater like stones into its depths. The meteorite hypothesis gained traction early on, given Siberia's history of cosmic impacts like the Tunguska event. But no fragments of extraterrestrial material have ever been found, and the crater lacks the telltale signs of a high-velocity impact. Then there's the uranium angle. The region is rich in radioactive ore, and some speculate a natural chain reaction could have triggered an underground explosion. Yet radiation levels, while slightly elevated, don't match the profile of a nuclear event. The most provocative theory ties the crater to the Cold War. Declassified documents reveal that the Soviet Union conducted secret atomic tests in remote areas during the 1950s, and the Patamsky site lies suspiciously close to one such zone. Could this have been an unrecorded test gone wrong, buried by bureaucracy? Skeptics counter that the crater's estimated age, likely centuries old, predates nuclear technology. But anomalies persist. In 2005, a research team found metallic fragments embedded in the crater's walls, their composition still unidentified. Perhaps the most haunting detail is how the crater continues to change. Recent expeditions note that its height has increased by nearly a meter over the past decade, and new cracks spiderweb across its surface. Some researchers suggest an underground gas buildup or hydrothermal activity might be reshaping it, but no one knows for sure. The Patamsky crater stands as a reminder that even in an age of satellites and deep drilling probes, Earth still holds pockets of defiance, places where the rules of geology seem to rewrite themselves, and where the line between science and myth blurs into something far stranger. Rising like a mirage from the golden grasslands of southern Africa, the stone towers of Great Zimbabwe stand as a defiant rebuke to centuries of colonial arrogance. This sprawling medieval city, built between the 11th and 15th centuries, was once the heart of a thriving kingdom that dominated the gold trade from the Swahili coast to the Persian Gulf. Its very existence shattered racist myths, yet for generations, white settlers refused to believe Africans could have engineered such grandeur. The ruins tell a different story, a civilization of staggering sophistication, where rulers commanded networks stretching across continents, and artisans shaped stone without mortar into walls that still stand 20 feet tall after 700 years. At its peak, Great Zimbabwe was home to nearly 20,000 people. A metropolis by medieval standards, the crown jewel is the Great Enclosure, a towering elliptical structure with walls 30 feet high and 17 feet thick at the base, their curved design echoing the shape of traditional African grain bins. Nearby, the hill complex gazes down from a granite outcrop, its strategic placement suggesting both defense and spiritual significance. But what truly set this city apart was its economic might. Archaeologists have unearthed artifacts revealing trade connections that spanned half the globe. Persian ceramics, Chinese porcelain, and Arab coins mingled with locally mined gold in quantities that dazzled early explorers. Their kingdom's wealth flowed through Sofala, a coastal port where merchants from as far as Venice and Cairo bartered for the precious metal that fueled empires. Yet when Portuguese traders first encountered the ruins in the 16th century, they spun fantastical tales attributing them to the biblical Queen of Sheba or Phoenician colonists. This deliberate erasure reached its zenith under British rule in the late 19th century. Cecil Rhodes' cronies looted the site, dynamiting structures in search of gold while insisting the ruins were too advanced for black Africans to have built. Even the name Zimbabwe, derived from the Shona term Dizimba Mabwe, meaning houses of stone, was dismissed as primitive. It took decades of painstaking archaeology to dismantle these racist myths. Studies of mortarless masonry techniques, carbon-dated foundations, and oral histories from the Shona people confirmed what the colonizers refused to accept. This was an unambiguously African achievement. Modern research continues to peel back layers of the city's secrets. Satellite imaging reveals an extensive network of terraced fields and irrigation channels that sustain the population, while artifacts like carved soapstone birds, likely symbols of royal authority, hint at a complex spiritual worldview. The most tantalizing discoveries come from the surrounding hills, where over 4,000 gold mines snake beneath the earth. These weren't shallow pits, but deep, carefully engineered shafts supported by wooden beams, proof of advanced mining knowledge long before European contact. What makes Great Zimbabwe's story so vital isn't just its architectural splendor. It's how its legacy was nearly stolen twice, first by colonial looters, then by historians who erased its builders from the narrative. Today, the ruins stand not just as a monument to Africa's pre-colonial brilliance, but as a testament to the resilience of truth against the corrosive tide of prejudice. Every weathered stone whispers the same message: greatness needs no outside validation. It simply is. From the sunken ruins of Dwarka to the echoing chambers of the Hypogeum, these 25 locations stand as defiant puzzles, refusing to surrender their secrets to time. Each one rewrites what we thought possible, whether it's 12,000-year-old temples at Göbekli Tepe, whispering of civilizations far older than we imagined, or the Coral Castle's impossible stones, carved by a man who claimed to hold forgotten knowledge. These aren't just relics, they're invitations to question the boundaries of history itself. What if the past is far stranger, far richer than our textbooks dare to suggest? Consider how many of these sites were dismissed as myths until evidence forced us to reconsider. Atlantis wasn't just Plato's allegory, it was a warning etched in the collective memory of catastrophe. The Nazca Lines, invisible from the ground, hint at a culture that saw the world from perspectives we're only now beginning to decode. Even the Dyatlov Pass incident, with its radioactive traces and broken bodies, reminds us that some events defy neat explanations, lingering like shadows at the edge of understanding. But the real magic lies in how these mysteries connect us. Every theory, from celestial alignments to lost technologies, reflects our own era's hopes and fears. Maybe that's why we keep searching, not just for answers, but for the thrill of the unknown. So tell us, which of these sites sends chills down your spine? Have you stood beneath the hanging coffins of Sagada or traced the grooves of the Georgia guidestones before they fell? The world is still brimming with lesser-known enigmas like Japan's underwater Yonaguni monument or the creeping stones of Death Valley, waiting for curious minds to uncover their stories. This isn't the end of the journey, far from it. With every technological leap, LiDAR scans, muon tomography, AI-assisted decryption, we peel back another layer. Who knows what awaits in the uncharted chambers of the Great Pyramid's big void, or what the Potomsky crater's shifting walls might reveal? The past is a living thing, and its mysteries are far from exhausted. So keep questioning, keep exploring, and above all, keep wondering. Because the moment we stop chasing these riddles is the moment we stop seeing history as something alive. And who wants to live in a world where all the answers are already known? Stay curious. The next great discovery might be yours. And if you're hungry for more, well, let's just say we've only scratched the surface. The world's mysteries run deeper than you think.